Welcome to Scratch. This is an explainer video on how to use the application. Now, the first thing you need to do before you use the application is you need to sign in. You can do that over here through the sign in button. If you don't have an account, you can create an account by clicking the create account button, enter your details, provide an email address, a password and a name. It'll then ask you to confirm your email with a code sent to that email address, and then you'll be able to get going. But I'm going to use one of the email addresses that I already have set up on the system. The way you get around Scratch is using this top navigation bar that you'll find across all the pages. You can always scroll up to get to it. One thing to be aware of is the settings page. Here is where the sign out button is, so if you want to sign out, you can do that. And also a number of key settings that quite quickly in your Scratch experience you'll want to set. The key thing is understanding your planning day. Scratch is about helping you make it simpler to scratch cook and make your shopping experience easier. And so one key thing is deciding what your planning day is. And typically this is going to be the day in which you do your shopping. Now in our case, we do online shopping. That shopping arrives on a Thursday. It arrives late on a Thursday after I've cooked. So my planning day starts on a Friday. You then set the number of planning days that you want to work to. You see that's important, why that's useful, but not that important. And then your shopping days, the number of days that you're gonna be shopping over. Now I'm actually going to set that down to 7, which is your default setting. Now I'm going to move on to the heart of Scratch, which is the planner. This enables you to plan out the meals you're going to eat, but also help you develop your variety and find different and more varied dishes. When you come into the planner, the main thing you'll see there are the recipe cards. These are all of the different recipes that are available to you. These are ordered, but it may take a while for you to see how the ordering works. And I'll explain that in a moment. But at the top of the screen are a number of controls that allow you to control the recipes that you're seeing within the planner. The first thing is the start date over the period in which you're planning. And I can change that if I want. But the system will automatically default to the next planning day, which as I said was set to Friday. So the next planning day here is the 3rd of November. The number of days I'm going to plan over. So this is separate to my shopping days. I like to plan over 14 days, even if I'm only shopping for 7. And then I've got a number of controls that allow me to select and find different recipes. But I'll explain those in a moment. Now I can just simply scroll through the recipe cards and find a recipe that I'm interested in. And then plan that. So Korean style aubergine with spring onions and sesame rice. That sounds like an interesting dish. And if I want to add it to my planner, all I need to do is click on the plus calendar symbol. And here you can see all of the days, those 14 days in the plan that I can plan over. I'll pick one of these. Let's say I'm interested in eating that on Saturday. I click on it and it puts it in. Pick another one, but I might want some help finding things. So let me go back up here and look at these controls. I might fancy a pasta dish. So let me select pasta and show me all of my pasta meals. Spaghetti with chili and prawns looks good. So I can click on that and then I can pick the day. You can see that the Korean style aubergine is appearing on the Saturday. If I click on Friday, that appears in. Now you might ask why the recipes is disappearing. They're not actually disappearing, they're actually being pushed to the bottom of the list. The reason that we're doing this is the way in which the recipes are ordered. They're actually ordered in popularity, your popularity. So the more you plan something, the higher up it's going to appear in the list. But it also works to a repeat cycle, which means in order to drive variety, it will hide recipes that have appeared within your repeat cycle, or at least put them to the end. So by default, the repeat cycle is set to 10 days. So while you're planning something within a week, you won't see that recipe at the top of the list. I actually set my repeat cycle to 90 days, so I won't see recipes for a whole 3 months. And this really helps me have a much more varied set of recipes because I'm not just always clicking on my favorites. If I want to see what I've been planning, I can go to meals, and this will show me the individual meals that I have planned. Also in the recipe cards, I can click on them and see more details about them. So if I want to find out about chicken with mustard and mascarpone masala, I can see the details about that, where it's come from. And here I can see it's come from a website, and there's a link to the website here. I can actually click on that, and that will take me and show me that source website, so I can find out more about it. If it's a scratch recipe, so one that's on the website, you'll actually see a method appear here. But as this is from a third-party website, there's no method. As well as showing the recipes as cards, you can also look at a recipe list to see them more at once. This also has a little bit of additional information. It can see the count. Probably here worth explaining what these little symbols are at the side. If something is available through a website, then you'll see these little website symbols. But if there's a book symbol, it means that you need the recipe book in order to access that recipe. So for instance here, salmon, broccoli and spinach pasta bake, you need to have the red roasting tin in order to use it. Some stage I'll make it easier to hide those recipes, but I haven't done that yet. Other tabs here, and this might be when you're used to the interface to very quickly build up your plan. You can look through the list, and I can click on one side and then click onto the other, and it moves them quickly across. I can also here use this to quickly move things around. So if I actually want the Korean aubergine on Sunday, I click on that, it's deleted, but I click on the Sunday and it appears again. So the system is remembering one recipe as you go along. Stacked, well, it's very similar to side by side, but this time recipes are stacked on top of meals, and this allows you to see more on a screen at once, which can be useful. It's worth spending a little bit more about the selection at the top. I used this here earlier to find pasta dishes, but I can also exclude that item, and then it'll show me things that don't have pasta. I can exclude other things, so if I definitely don't want a rice dish, I can click rice, and then it's going to hide all the rice dishes. And include and exclude works both ways, so these are all the dishes that are either pasta or rice, or these ones are excluded. The reason we have these controls is to try and drive variety by picking different carbs, but also different proteins. Proteins work the same way. So if I decide that I don't want any beef, pork or poultry, then I can exclude those, and then I can see all the recipes without those. And those selections are preserved across the interface. So they're preserved in recipe cards, in recipe list, in side by side, and stacked. So I'm just going to quickly fill in the rest of the week. I'm going to take my pearl barley and parsley, put that on Monday. Actually, I quite like some beef in here. So if I put this back to include, then I've got 2 beef dishes available to me. Actually, if I get rid of rice and pasta, I've got 4 beef dishes available to me. I'm going to take that cottage pie and put it on the Saturday there. Now looking down here, I've got a pasta dish, a potato dish, a rice dish, a pearl barley dish. Let's try and get maybe some quinoa in here. So let's find all my quinoa recipes. Include those. So these are all my quinoa recipes. And I'm going to pick the fennel lettuce salad. I've got one day more to complete my list. And I'm just going to freely look for something here. that looks interesting in the list. Maybe this roasted cauliflower and hazelnut carbonara. There you are. Now I've got 2 pasta dishes in a row, so I'm just going to switch that around. And there you are. I've got my meals planned for the week. I can then move on and look at my shopping list. So this is showing me the same meal list that I just played out to remind me what we're shopping for. But here you see the days are set to 7. Typically people shop for 7 days, but you can increase that or decrease that to fit your needs. You may only shop for maybe 3-4 days at a time. It looks at all of those recipes, and through the shopping tab I can see all of the items that I'm likely to need to shop for. Store cupboard are things that I'm likely to have in the store cupboard, but typically I'll need to check those to make sure that they are in fact in, and then combined shows both shopping and store cupboard together. So that concludes this explainer video for today. Hopefully you found that useful and will make it easier to use Scratch. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Contact details are found in the application. Thank you very much, and hopefully speak to you again soon.